Okie dokie. So today we are going to be talking all things preparing yourself for success. Now, this is a bit of a bonus live stream that I wanted to do by bringing together some of the best of the best. And with that, we're going to be breaking down what has allowed these people to become successful. So I have Connor here, I have Altair. They are both clients of ours here at Impact School. And then I brought on Noor as well, who is our COO, and she works a lot with clients at Impact School. So we know what makes someone successful versus someone who's not. So if you're about to start on the Impact School MBA, then you're going to want to be paying close attention to everything that we're talking about here. Because I think as kids, we have these dreams, these visions of what we want to achieve, but then we get put into the real world. We go through school, we get told by our parents, by our teachers, be more realistic and start to think of what you can actually achieve. But that means that we hold back and we hold ourselves in this there's just this vision of what we can achieve, and we start to think way smaller. And so I've had conversations with Altair, I've had conversations with Connor, I've had conversations with Noor about the things that successful people do that are different to those that people that never make it do, and the way that they live. And so I just wanted to kick this off by perhaps some of the habits, the routines, the rituals that you, Altair, Connor, I'm going to chuck this over to you, that you follow in your life that allow you to ultimately create the life that you want. So I'm going to start off with you, Connor. If you could just go ahead, please.
Yeah, so I think firstly, it's just about taking yourself seriously. So I'm somebody that I've always taken what I do really, really seriously, no matter what stage of business I've been at. If it's just been conceptualizing over what I'm doing or in the trenches working with clients as I've been more established, I think even from day one, I've known how important it is to take your physical health, your mental health seriously. And I've got habits in place every single day that I use to keep me grounded and to make sure I can keep moving forwards in my business. So for me, it's just even being focused on one thing and eliminating other distractions helps so much. So when I'm showing up to something, even if it is a 5-day challenge I'm doing, even if it is a piece of work, I'm going to make sure that everything else is put on the side and I'm going to go all in on that, because then you can get the most out of it, really.
Oh, I love that, Connor. And you know what just came to my mind? I'm going to get into that in a sec, but for everyone watching this right now, guys, if you saw the shape Connor's in, you'll know that when he says he takes things seriously, this guy has the craziest abs you will ever see in your life. I'll share, I've shared his stuff on my Instagram before, but seriously, just go check out his stuff. It's crazy. And I think that's ultimately what allowed you to come in, Connor, and to be so successful. And the thing that just flashed in my mind was that when COVID first broke out, and it really started to hit the UK, the US, and sort of the more Western parts of the world in March 2020. That was when we first ever did the Impact MBA. I scrambled together with my team and I was like, guys, come on, we need to put something out there free for people who have typically had a personal training job and now they can't work, who have typically been coaches and now they're no longer able to serve their clients, or maybe even people who have just had this job and they've been having this side hustle on the side and now they have the time to take it seriously. And in fact, that was how I think both Connor and Altair came into Impact School's world. And so it's kind of crazy, this timing, because now obviously we're doing this live stream right now for a lot of people who are coming in. So 1 year's gone by. What's changed for you, Connor? We'll come over to you in a second, Altair, but what's changed for you?
Yeah, honestly, so much. I mean, this time last year, I had just quit my job around a couple of months beforehand at a gym to start up my own personal training studio in person, and I had to shut that because of COVID. And I was at this place where I knew that at the time all I was doing was fitness coaching, but I wasn't able to monetize it online properly. I wasn't able to serve my clients in the way I wanted to, and I didn't even have as many clients as I wanted. And I think I needed some kind of structure, because I found that through everyone else being furloughed and taking up multiple jobs, it was at a point where I needed some structure and I knew I could put the work in. If I had somebody or some kind of guidance telling me what to do, I knew I was going to be able to achieve amazing things. And ultimately, if you have an A to B plan of what to do, you can go and put the work in. But if you're not working off any blueprints, it's very hard to get things done and to be effective and to be successful, because ultimately you don't know what you're doing. So for me, I just needed to take action. I needed to do something because I had energy and I had passion. I knew what I wanted to achieve. But I didn't know how to do that, and I didn't know how to get there. So that's why I started the process. And obviously, yeah, the results have spoken for themselves.
Yeah, and so just to come full circle, I mean, Connor's now at the point where he's got team members in his business, and he's doing very, very well when it comes to the revenue ceilings, that not the ceilings, but like the revenue that he's pushing up and up and up each month. So yeah, killing it, Connor. Now I just want to hop over to Altair. Altair, I know you do a lot of work when it comes to more spiritual side of coaching. And so I remember actually, I remember I was out for a walk in the freezing cold London, by the bridge in Chelsea. And I remember being on a phone call with you. And I remember having this conversation, just hearing about everything that you do with your business and just being like, wow, this is really impressive. And it was this whole industry that I didn't even know about. And that was exciting. And so you've achieved amazing things too. And so I would love for you to share, you know, some of the traits that you feel like you have. And again, don't feel like you're being, you know, egotistical or anything here. I want to give you guys credit where credit is due, because I think that's important. But what do you feel like some of those traits are that have ultimately allowed you to reach that success?
Thanks, Lauren. Well, I love your story. I love that you remember it so clearly. I do as well. And I remember you saying something like, wow, well, you're interested in coaching and having a course and creating all these different products and doing all these different workshops. Don't you want to just simplify that into a format that, you know, can powerfully serve your clients and you can charge more? And I was like, yes, that's what I want. And so I think one of my traits is always looking for the most efficient route, the shortcut. Honestly, what I loved so much about Impact School was that you break down sequences in such a clear way for setting up an online business. And you've streamlined it, and you really allow us that flexibility to leverage our time and to focus more on building our area of expertise, which of course is why we all get into this to begin with. So for me, a huge trait in my life is always simplifying, toning things down. I believe in keeping a really clear space, a really clear environment, because it helps me focus. So I'd say the number one thing for anyone preparing for success, set up a little office for yourself, even if it's the corner of the dining room table, where you have your notebook, you have a couple of things, you have your calendar. Just allow yourself to settle into the frame of mind of being able to show up for your business, to start embodying what it means to be a business owner.
And so, I mean, what do you think that means, right? Being a business owner, because that can feel kind of heavy and big. So how is someone able to embody that when maybe they feel that they're kind of faking it till they make it?
Exactly. You know, even if it's a really, really simple office setup, and again, I'm all about paring things down and just working on the essentials. Sit down as if you're sitting down to now run your business. Just have that in your mind as you go through your day. I think embodying a business it's a feeling. There's a sense of power. There's a sense of responsibility. There's a sense of having something that you want to see grow. So get really excited about that notion, the feeling of being able to build something that's your own. You do have to get a little serious about it and take it seriously, exactly like what Connor says. And you have to commit to it every day and show up. But do that by embodying the feeling. And so go ahead and like clear a space somewhere, like your own dedicated workspace, so you can fully focus on that journey.
That's awesome. And yeah, there are some super simple things that you can do. I mean, I think it's one of those things whereby you can use kind of like a slight alter ego until you get to a certain level where you don't need to do it anymore. So I remember when I used to first take sales calls, right? This is years ago, I used to have a specific pen and a little notebook, and I would hold these in my hand. Did I ever use them? Not really, like honestly, not so much, but I would just write these little notes, and it made me feel like I am in the zone right now to be taking a sales call. This is my process, and this is my, I guess, symbol to allow myself to do that. It's these little simple things. They can seem so small and irrelevant, but my oh my, they can make a world of difference. So I love that you shared that. And look, anyone coming in to do the Impact MBA, anyone getting started right now, some words of wisdom for you. Okay, so we've already had, get your work zone. Get a specific work zone where you work every single time you are committing to this. Secondly, treat yourself as a business owner. Even if right now you're brand new and starting from scratch, that's exactly where Connor Altair, not so long ago at all, right? A lot can change very, very quickly. In fact, Altair, we didn't even come full circle to you and talk about what's changed in the last year. I mean, how does your life look different now?
Well, my life materially looks very different. Right before we hopped on the call, you commented on my bookshelf that I have in the background. This is like a very new addition in my space, in my apartment. But I always pledged to myself that as soon as I had enough resource, I was going to put down some roots and I was going to have a really nice bookshelf and I was going to have a place to keep all my herbs. I'm an herbalist and nutritionist and life coach. That's what I do. So I don't even have my jars on the shelf yet, but like I had this custom designed.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Okay. I have such a beautiful apartment. I have a motorcycle I'm obsessed with. I just got back from traveling to the States, was in Florida, New Orleans. Like all of that is possible because I have the flexibility of powerfully serving my clients online so I can be location independent. And I mean, I remember it was only a year and a half ago when I had made $800 at, or it was about 2 years ago, $800 at, maybe just a year. I'm so sorry, my timeline. Yeah, because
2 years ago.
We connected, it was a year and 3 months ago at Christmas, and I had made $800 at a Christmas market selling herbal products. And that was like a big deal for me to make $800 in a month. Okay, fast forward now, in the past month, I closed 3 5K clients. So that's it within 15 months. That's the difference that I've seen in my life.
Oh my gosh. So you went from, it's crazy to imagine a life where you're making $800 a month versus 15K per month in literally under a year and a half.
Yes.
Under a year and a half. And how did that happen though? I mean, what changed in your life? What changed to make that happen and make that real?
I needed to learn about outreach. I needed to learn about lead generation. I needed to learn about setting up my online calendar. Like you helped me put all the pieces in place to build my business, okay? And there was a lot of mindset shifting along the way in terms of wanting to claim bigger things for myself, my brand, my message, my philosophy, my mission, and having that evolve and be ever present in my work has been a very powerful motivator.
Okay, but for real though, so to 19 times your income, there must be some things that go on in your mind that change. Okay, so there must be some things. I want to pull Noor into this conversation for a second. Noor, I would love to ask you, from our successful clients who come in, right, and ultimately make this happen, they get results like Connor and Altair. What are some of the mindset shifts that you see them making in order to actually allow them to manifest that into their lives? I'll start with one that I see, and then I'll chuck it over to you. One of the things that I see is this discipline in showing up even when they don't want to, right? Because oftentimes what ends up happening is once you start getting into the momentum of a few things are going well, you're in a bit of a flow, but then after a while, something will happen, right? It's probably going to be something very small. Something very small may happen. Maybe it's big, or maybe it's just that you're going, but you're not quite getting the result. I don't know if you've seen that little graphic whereby there's a guy like digging for gold, and at the top, he starts to turn back. Whereas the guy on the bottom, he's next to the gold. That's when he stops. And I see that the clients who ultimately reach that level of success, when the resistance starts to come up, that's when they go all in, right? It's kind of like when you're in the gym and you're working out and it feels really hard, but that's when you just push through and do like one more rep. That's what makes you versus other people the winner. right? And so that's what I see in our successful clients, the ones who are willing to push through the moments that feel really difficult. That's what allows them the success. So Noor, what's something that you're seeing?
I would say off of what you've said, a big thing for me that I see like coming up time and time again is people that get comfortable being uncomfortable. A lot of people that come on board think, oh, it's going to be really easy because I've got a coach now. And yes, we're here to tell you exactly what you need to do, when you need to do it, and hold your hand along the way. But we can't, like doing the outreach and stuff, that's uncomfortable for a lot of people. And like, we can't physically go in and, be doing that for you. And I think the people that have the most success are the ones that work really hard on priming themselves so that when they go in, they understand this is going to be uncomfortable. This is going to be difficult. And I need to have the discipline to show up every single day. I need to be coachable. I need to listen to what my coaches are telling me to do and trust that they know, that they are giving me all the little pieces that I need when I need them, put them into place so that I can progress, I can move the needle forward, I can be successful. And that for me is like the biggest thing. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be difficult. But the people that show up and push past that discomfort time and time again, showing up every single day, those are the ones that really excel.
That's so powerful, isn't it? And I was gonna come full circle over to Connor because it reminded me, I sent Connor a message the other day and I was like, Connor, I'm gonna master the human flag, right? I'm going to be able to do it. And what you said just there is so important because Connor can tell me everything that I need to do, right? Let's say I became a client of Connor's as well. He could tell me everything that I need to do, but if I don't show up to the gym and put in those reps and put in the work, then guess what? I'm not going to get the result. I am not going to get the result. So I love that. But okay, is there anything else just on the back of that, Altair and Connor, that you wanted to share about what you feel is one of the things that makes you successful, or even that makes some of your clients successful? Because you're in the courses and coaching and consulting space.
I agree with Noor, to be honest. I think being coachable and being able to take on feedback, not as an ego hit, but as something that is coming from somebody else who knows more than you do in the area. Because ultimately, if you sign up to something knowing that you need to learn, then learn from it and don't assume that you're still knowing everything. And I think often we can take down one barrier and say, yes, I'm coachable, I'm ready to be mentored or guided. And then we don't show up because actually we're subconsciously on a deeper level, we are still resisting because we think we know best. And ultimately, that can come from many places. But if you remove those barriers and just realize that you're going to get further forwards a lot quicker, if you don't have those barriers in place and you don't have that, egoic side to you, you're going to see so much more progress. So I think the best results I've ever seen in my life, in my business, in other areas of my life, is when I've been able to just step back, get out of my own way, and just be able to take advice from others around me. And ultimately, that has allowed me to achieve amazing things in a very short space of time. So I absolutely agree with Noor.
That's awesome. Altair, did you have anything?
Yeah, that's such a good point. And also, I think it's really powerful to have little hobbies alongside your business that are helping you to learn those lessons that promote continued learning, getting past your fears, pushing past your limitations, trying new things. I love that there are lots of physical activities that promote that, like training or yoga, or I just picked up surfing. That's a huge one. But having, cooking, something in your life where that you're going to be starting from scratch, but every single day you're seeing improvements, you're getting better. It's no different with your business. So just applying that philosophy to as many things as possible in your life is going to positively reinforce your own success because you understand the process of learning. You're going to fall down. It's going to be, there's going to be a really choppy day. You're not going to make a wave. And, these are all lessons that you can transfer into your daily life, and having that mentality of constantly learning, exactly like what Connor said.
Oh, something that you just said there is so important. And I think that as experts in our area, right? We have this area of expertise that we're good at, that we know inside out. Sometimes we get into this routine of always knowing the answer to certain things, right? And so you need to get out of your comfort zone sometimes. It's so important. So 251 days ago, what did I start doing? I started Spanish, right? I started Spanish every day. Every day I hate it. Every day I hate it because it's so difficult and it drives me crazy. But guess what? I'm showing up every single day consistently because I want to get the result and I need something in my life to challenge me. And this just reminded me of something, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this too, Noor. But ultimately, two people can have the exact same strategy, okay? So let's say two people are coming into the Impact School MBA. One of them can go ahead, like clients in the past who have on day 3 of the Impact MBA generated $7,000, right? Literally, clients come in, they get these crazy results in that 5-day period, whereas some other people come in and they don't get anything out of it. So let's go to you, Noor, first, then we'll go to Connor and Altair. But what do you feel is the difference between people who make it versus people who just never seem to actually get that success despite having the resources there and then?
Ooh, I feel like I could go on and on. I'm going to try and make this short. I feel like with that, again, it comes down to the discipline, I feel, and like being okay, being comfortable, being uncomfortable. So essentially, a lot of the things like doing outreach, getting on sales calls, like that's very, very scary for a lot of people. But the people that come in and absolutely smash it are the ones that say, okay, do you know what? It's really scary. I get that. I acknowledge that. However, I need to jump over that little hurdle, because eventually when I scale and I've got revenue in, someone else can do that for me. I'm not going to be doing it forever. You know, if I really, really don't like it, but I'm going to push myself. It's the way that they see it. It's not, oh, I'm so scared, like they're going to say no. Okay, if they say no, you pick yourself up, you move on. There are more people out there. It's fine. But the people that manage to see all these new and scary things as bettering themselves, as acquiring new skills, developing new skills, improving themselves, and rise to the challenge, because it's not going to be easy. And some people may find it a little bit more, you know, less scary, less intimidating than other people, but it's still a new skill. It's still something that many people haven't done before. So it's just about, I think it's really, really important to prime your mindset in the correct way, so that when you come in, you know, this is going to be uncomfortable. This is going to be a bit scary. The worst thing that happens is someone says no. And from that's a learning experience in and of itself. I'm going to learn from that. I'm going to develop. I'm going to improve my skills, and I'm going to move forwards.
Yeah, and it's also setting yourself up in those beginning stages to be able to take on pressure as you scale. Yeah. Because in the beginning, if you can't do the small little things consistently every day and simply show up, then when it comes to turning on ads in the future and having to run ads to test them to see if those ads are going to be within your KPIs and your parameters that you need in order to be profitable, so that you know if you put $10 in, you're going to get $30, $40, $50 out. Spending that money on those ads, for example, spending that money on that team, for example, before you can actually measure the revenue that they're bringing back in, having that tolerance and the ability to just grit your teeth and do it anyway, you need to get that from day one. Because if you can't get that in the beginning stages, then let me tell you, getting from 10K per month to 100K per month is going to be an incredible challenge. Okay, so I love that you said that. So Altair or Connor, whoever wants to go first, I'd love to chuck this question over to you as well. What makes someone successful who has the same strategy as someone who doesn't end up getting that success?
So you gotta love what you do. You gotta love what you do, because that helps you condense the timeline. That helps you say, I'm so obsessed with what I'm doing. I'm so obsessed with the vision I have in my mind about what I want to create. Even in the uncomfortable moments and the boring, tedious moments, I'm not going to be focusing on that feeling. I'm focusing on the feeling of what it means to actually build something that can support myself, my mission, my family, the dreams that I have for myself. You know, if you come into an impact school program, do it because of that whisper in the back of your mind of the thing that you really love to spend your time doing and you wish you could spend more time doing. Don't just pick up a business idea because you've seen someone else get profitable with it. You know, the difference is it's aligned to who you really, really are and a message that you really need to be sharing with the world, and only you can know what that is. And the beautiful thing is no one else can do it. No one else can copy it. It's only yours. And once you know what that is, then nothing will stop you except yourself. So the process is just clearing out everything in the way of you really embodying that message and that mission. But that's how I would do it.
That's great. And that's something that day one of the Impact MBA or day two, one of those days will be helping with, maybe even both. So I'm really, really glad that you brought that up. How about you, Connor? What would you say?
Yeah, firstly, I absolutely agree with Altair. I think having that mission is so important. But when you love what you do, when you assign your life to something and you're driving with a purpose, then ultimately you're going to be able to do all of the little things that will move you forwards, even if it is an uncomfortable sales call or an uncomfortable amount of time spent on certain areas of your business. If the value you're going to create, even if you haven't created it yet, you've never had clients, you've never given the result that you dream of giving to people, you've never facilitated on that yet. If your vision of it is strong enough and you can imagine yourself in that place right now, then you're going to be able to put the work in. And I think, you know, I know for myself and so many others that have been successful in their own ways, I know something that for me has helped just push through on the most, you know, uncomfortable days is having that overarching vision and my ability to look into the future and know where I'm going to be, but also to enjoy every moment, like Altair said, because if you're not enjoying the days when you are just sat at home working on your laptop and you're not seeing anyone face to face, then you're never going to enjoy it when that isn't your reality either, because you know you will always be searching for something more. So know that there's loads you can achieve and there is, you know, an endless potential for you, but at the same time have a real look at why you're doing this, what the big motivator for you is, and then if that value is enough, you'll be successful because you'll be able to push past short-term challenges and hurdles that come up, and then you'll be able to get where you want to go.
Yeah, totally. No, I love it. And with the right strategy, I mean, the right strategy plus the passion and the dedication, that's ultimately what it takes to be successful. And then Noor, did you have any further questions or topics that you wanted to bring up on this panel today?
The only thing that I think would be interesting for the people watching to kind of hear about is maybe if Connor and Altair, you can speak to some of the resistance that you guys had to deal with and overcome. And yeah, just maybe speak to that for a bit. Who wants to go first? Connor?
Okay,
Connor?
Yeah, I think, you know, with anything that you do in life, when you start making a change, you're going to feel uncomfortable because, you know, we crave order in our lives. All humans do. We like things to be as they always were. But that same fact holds so many people back, because if you start living your life the same as it was yesterday, you're going to get where you've always gone. And for me, I think making a big commitment in my life to do something, you know, let's take this time last year when I did take the MBA and everything folding out from there. I was making a commitment at a point in life where there was so much instability elsewhere. And for me, actually, it was some form of stability amidst chaos, because it was a structure that I was given when I had no structure in my life. So actually, you might be thinking, okay, right now my life is going in lots of different directions. Maybe I've got these business ideas. I've got this job. I've got that job. I've been furloughed from here. I don't know when I'm going to be able to travel again, blah, blah, blah. And I know that you need order to feel successful and to move forward. But I was facing this resistance of everything that was going on in the world. And I think that having some structure really helped me. But along the way, there are going to be multiple points that I did face where, you know, things aren't going as planned, and you don't get those quick wins every single time. One week might be incredible, the next week maybe not, and that could last 2 months. You could still be doing so much better than you've ever done before financially, in terms of your fulfillment, and you still may not feel like it's enough. But like I said before, my previous point, having that overarching passion and that reason why, that always keeps me grounded, that always keeps me moving forwards. And then, you know, short-term obstacles are just short-term, and I'm always able to move forwards because I've got that long-term vision. So you are always going to come unstuck, but if you keep moving forwards, then yeah, you'll be all good.
That's so powerful what you just shared there, Connor. And it just reminded me of something that I hear a lot is people will say, oh, but I'm just too busy to do this right now. Oh, I've got clients. I'm too busy to do that right now. I've got these other commitments. I have my job. I've got some other stuff that I need to deal with. That's why you need this more than anyone else. If you're too busy right now, that means that you need help and support more than anybody else.
Altair, did you have anything to add on that?
Well, you know, I love what Lauren was, I feel like I know what she was going to say with that, which is like, once you have a system, and her acronym always just, I fell in love with that acronym of like saves you money.
Save yourself time, energy, money, and stress. Yes, Altair, sorry, go back ahead.
Yeah, and so having a system can help you streamline and save all of that resource and time, and you end up making more money, and that's amazing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And okay, great. And then that's the thing. I mean, I think it's sometimes when you notice yourself making excuses, that's when you need to double down. Like, you really need to double down and ask yourself, why am I making these excuses? Is there something else that I'm afraid of? Am I actually afraid of having success? Am I afraid of what people are going to think about me? What's actually the underlying reason why you're making those excuses? That is what you need to ask yourself, because rather than looking at the symptom, which is the excuse, look at the problem, which is why you're making that excuse. I always like to go down into the deep rooted problem to actually identify how you can get to that next level. Okay, so was there anything else that anybody else wanted to share while we were here today? Altair, go ahead.
The last thing I was going to say is like, where I reliably, I think, deal with the most resistance, and I think this is very normal for most people, is like investing large amounts of money in your business and going into debt temporarily in order to see yourself move forward more quickly. You know, investing in my life, investing in my business has just, I've seen it come back to me tenfold over and over and over again. And I know that taking that leap of faith into the unknown and spending a large amount of money can bring up a lot of resistance. But the more you as a business owner make those risks for yourself and you see the positive benefit, the more your clients are going to pick up on that, and they're going to be more willing to invest in you. And it just grows and grows and grows from there. So I would say, like, start getting used to leveraging debt, leveraging investment. That's what good business owners do. And see it as, you know, you're playing kind of a game of poker with, but you have a really good hand. Just always remember, like, you know, you have a good hand, you have your values, you have your mission.
That brings me on to something which I think you bring up a good point. How do you see this with your clients? You know, when your clients are resisting investing into your coaching programs and your consulting and such, how are you, I mean, do you see that a lot now? Because I mean, I know that after I made my first big investment, it was much, much easier for me to ask clients to invest and join my programs, etc. But how are you guys seeing that? I just love to chuck that random thought out there.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I mean, sorry if I'm jumping in, Altair, but I just wanted to add to what you were saying too, that just over a year ago, I had never spent significant money on myself for any business venture, really. I mean, I had, and I'm not just talking about online coaching, I'm talking about investing in other areas too, in other things. And for me, it's that, you know, I realized that I'm somebody, like you said, Lauren and Altair, if I'm somebody who can spend money on a coach, then I'm not a hypocrite when I'm asking somebody else to spend money on a coach. And if I'm sat over here saying, oh no, I don't need that, I'll work it out for free, but everyone else can just pay me for my advice, on a subconscious level, I'm not aligned with what I'm asking for, because on the one hand, I'm saying, hey guys, I'm the expert, pay me X amount of money. Whereas if I'm figuring out all of the excuses, and I'm pulling out all the excuses why not to invest in someone else because I don't need it, because I can do it by myself, then that then means that everyone else who I'm asking to work with, that why should they work with me if I'm not willing to be vulnerable and to take on coaching from others too? I think that's something that we don't realize. And for so long, I was stuck in a place of thinking the reason I can't work with XYZ is because I don't have the money, or because I don't have any money to borrow from my friends or family, or how could I possibly make it happen? But you can get resourceful. There's always a way. And I just think that point of being somebody who does what you're also asking for from others, that's so important. And it goes so much deeper than just the moment, it is killer. So yeah.
Awesome. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. Right. Well, with that said, guys, thank you so much for coming. This has been really, really valuable for everyone that's starting on the Impact School MBA. And I'm grateful for you guys. And I'm just proud of the success that you've had as clients of ours here at Impact School. And I look forward to taking you guys to the next levels as well. So thank you so much for coming here today.